Recorded live from a previously unfinished attic in downtown Monroe, this is Drawing Bigger Circles, where we dig into what's going on behind the scenes and out in the streets of our city, Monroe, North Carolina. My name is Stephen Stegall, and I'm the chairperson for Change from Monroe, and we're a grassroots organization that seeks to connect neighbors to neighbors through political engagement, civic education, and a myriad of community service opportunities. And as always, I'm joined by my producer and my partner in thought crime, Kevin Daniels.
Thought crime. Well, I have some good news. I'm not going to be your partner in that because I took some Tylenol today. So
No thinking for you,
they'll never
sir.
read my thoughts now.
So it is apparently illegal now to do anything anti-Christian, anti-capitalist, anti-Trump, I believe is another thing.
Anti-Pete Hegseth.
Probably, yeah.
Anti-Pokemon.
Anti-America. How could I forget? Because America is synonymous with Christian and capitalism, apparently. So anyway, but we're referring to the memorandum that Trump signed not too long ago that basically made being anything left of Mitch McConnell a crime, I believe, and maybe even Mitch.
Yeah, he's
Mitch
pretty
better-
left compared now.
Mitch better watch his ass.
Comparatively speaking, I mean, I'll tell you this, that Mitch McConnell never cared about gay marriage. He just used that as a springboard to do tax cuts for the rich. So,
Right.
I mean, technically, he is left of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I would think, yeah. I mean, again, we went through the spectrum, a couple episodes ago, but man, it's really hard to pin anybody down anymore.
Nobody's 100% anything.
I tell you, there's a lot of just the ideologies are just like swishing around in a big fucking, gross soup bowl, and you can just pick out what works best for you, I guess, and just go with that. It's usually just what Trump says, and
then, surprise, that's the new policy.
right. So we've got a light and airy episode for everybody today.
We like to keep it fresh.
But we're actually going to be talking about a pretty heavy subject, which is what is Christian nationalism, Kevin?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going to inform you what Christian nationalism is. But we're gonna dive into because it seems like and our mayor, our illustrious mayor, has in so many words, and I've mentioned this before too, that he has referred to himself as a Christian
He
nationalist.
brags about it.
Yeah, very much so. Doesn't see anything wrong with it, I think is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think he's stupid and doesn't know what it is.
Well, that's a given, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has taken to
It's
finishing his tweets with "Thank you for your attention to this matter."
It's kind of like
Fucking
was
shit.
it was what, like 9-10 years ago when Hillary Clinton said they're deplorable.
Yeah.
Talking about Trump supporters, and they started to walk around with T-shirts saying "I'm deplorable," and I'm like,
Well,
don't know what that word means, huh?
right. Yeah. Oh no, they do. Yeah. It's like anything that makes I guess just wing people cry or something like that. I mean, that's what they go for. So
Speaking of crying,
yeah. Ugh, Jesus. So anyway, we're gonna do our best to kind of define the mayor's ideology a little bit and talk about why it's awful, why he's awful, and I got to do this, by the way.
I was saying Burns.
Yes, because this entire conversation is going to be about why Burns is fucking awful.
in case you guys didn't know why he actually does that, is because I have like an hour 2 of recording, and that is the only thing on that track that I now have to line up perfectly with the other tracks, because that's its own little thing. So he just does that to make sure that I have.
It's all about annoying the shit out of Kevin.
It works.
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah. I could push all these other buttons.
You can push all the other buttons, but it's too late now. Once you hit the first one, it's over.
All right, so we're gonna define Christian nationalism. That's going to be the first thing. Then we're going to talk about what the difference of that is. We're going to talk about the contradictions of Christian and nationalism because they're not compatible ideologies. And then we're going to talk about why patriotism is not nationalism. Does that sound like fun?
I love it.
Okay, great. So.
Not like there's a football game on that I could be watching.
I mean, we could. Panthers won yesterday, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
To the surprise of everyone, including the Panthers.
Right. They did kind of pull it out in the end, didn't they? All right. Yeah. So, all right. So first up, the contradictions of Christian nationalism. I've got like 10 stars beside that on my keep thing right here because it's very important. The first thing I want to discuss is like why Christian nationalism and the idea of America and its founding are completely adverse or at odds with each other. First off, Christianity is a top-down system, and is that basically it's you have the triune God, which is in whatever you have God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, and all that other stuff. That is the very top of the pyramid, and then everything underneath that is just like him delegating power to his earthly people, and so that they can tell other people what to do and control them. And so basically, it's Christianity believes in a king. I mean, they call Jesus king, and it's an authoritarian monarchy with a power centered at the unquestionable rule of a single entity. And America, conversely, is a bottom-up structure, and it's
In theory.
In theory, yes, it attempts to diffuse the power in what's supposed to be three co-equal branches, and they're all exemplified by the phrase "we the people," because we should be able to choose our leaders. Right? That's the way the system is supposed to work. Any comments on that before I start going into examples?
Nope, you're killing it. Keep going.
Okay, all right. Okay, so one of the first examples is the entire book of Job. It's basically, God is this unquestionable and can't be understood, and he gets excoriated throughout by God himself and his friends and everything, and God takes everything away from him in order to like prove his might and basically teach Job a lesson. The lesson basically is just like, listen to me or else. I mean, there's other lessons I think that other smart people pull from that, but that's basically what the end of it is. So, but then you have Paul basically saying that we are the clay and God is the potter, and this passage states that all governing authorities. Then you have Romans 13:1, which is also a letter from Paul. We have and this passage states that all governing authorities are appointed by God. But it also emphasizes that this appointment does not always equal divine approval. Sometimes it's for judgment. So Christians believe that God put Joe Biden in power, but he also put Trump into power, but for different reasons. So was God punishing us with Trump or punishing us with Biden? It's hard to tell, but it doesn't have to make sense.
Either way, I feel punished.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, America is being punished. So, if you're, for all of you following along at home, I don't think that either one of us really like Biden or Trump.
Yeah, I mean, well, and just to be clear, like everything, we don't have a problem with Christianity. I don't worship politicians.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
I just don't do it.
I'm glad you said that, because we are not bashing Christianity. We're never bashing Christianity on this podcast, and we are not bashing Christianity in this episode. We are bashing the fusion of Christian idolatry with the idolatry of the state, which is America.
A Christian politician is technically kind of at odds with themselves.
Sure.
Because they're supposed to serve the people.
Yep.
And it becomes, that's why, Joe Biden, who was a devout Catholic, he had to put his Catholicism off to the side when he was legislating, because these two things were not going to be compatible with each other. And instead, we see this Christian nationalism, this marriage between politics and religion that is not only, as you pointed out, at odds with it itself, but also very damaging to the theory of America.
So nationalistic systems require or it relies on the idea that the family and the Bible are kind of at the center of I guess the structure of society and all this other stuff. So but the Bible doesn't really say this. There's really no real family structure in the Bible. Women in the Old Testament are the property of men, along with their sexual purity, and this doesn't really get resolved in the New Testament at all. Jesus even at one point, and I don't have the scripture here, but he himself plays down the importance of the family unit when he rebuked those that were around him. And when his gathered people were saying, "Hey, your mother and your brothers are outside," and he says, "No, these are my brothers and sisters because we do God's will," and so everybody is his brothers and sisters. So Jesus doesn't really, and he talked about forsaking your mother and father to follow him. So I mean, he doesn't really put a whole lot of emphasis on the family. But again, that's a staple in Christian nationalist circles where it's like, family, faith, and freedom, all this other stuff. So, again, none of this is like biblical.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to chime in with my 4 cents and
Please do. Anytime you're
none
ready.
of this.
Yeah.
Christian nationalism is not Christianity.
Right.
It is not biblical. It is not Christianity.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to. I kind of like did that thing where I just like repeated the last sentence you said, but in different words.
For effect. We got to get it.
When we get our band up and going, that'll be my role. Is like you say the song, and I'm like in the background going, yeah,
Right. You're my MC. You're my mic checker.
hanging out in the back. Get him.
My background vocals, right? All right. So, we've established how the term Christian nationalism itself is like an oxymoron, and the tenets really just kind of contradict each other. So I wanted to discuss some of the other tenets of Christianity versus nationalism. You have universalism versus exclusion, which is Christianity will say that we have a universal message for all of humanity, and Christians are called to be one in Christ regardless of national, ethnic, or social divisions. And this is, you can look up all the biblical passages. I won't bore everybody with any of that. But then you have nationalism, which is the ideology that promotes an interest of one nation and over everyone else. And it is inherently exclusive. It can't be anything else. I mean, America first is an exclusionary phrase that they chime in, and it is by definition exclusionary.
And I don't know if anyone else remembers The American President movie from the 90s with Michael Douglas.
Oh, I don't actually.
Yeah, his character was running for re-election, and the senator that was running against him, that was how he ended every speech with, "And God bless America and nobody else."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn,
and, Michael
I missed
Douglas's
that.
big thing at the end is like, "And God bless America and everybody else."
Oh, yeah. Good for him.
I'll guess you.
Yeah.
I'll let you figure out which party each person was from later on.
It's almost like these people never watch movies or...
Or they hope that I've never seen the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like any sort of fiction. Like, you people are the fucking bad guys in everything.
Everything.
Literally, like all of fiction, every time. But I guess, we talk about this. Reality has the left-wing bias.
Yeah.
But so does art, for that matter.
And common sense.
Yeah. I mean, well, I say that, but Hitler was a painter, apparently.
Yeah, but he was bad at it.
He was, very much so. That's why he became an authoritarian.
Yeah.
Do
Do you think that's what happened? Is that what happened with Burns? Like, he used to be a rapper. He was growing up. He was listening to Eminem, and he's like, "I got this." And then he gets up on stage, and instead of like, everyone cheering, he got booed off the stage, and he's like, "Fuck you. I'm going to go become an authoritarian mayor of Monroe."
Yes, but it was football.
Okay.
So he failed at that. So he was like, one too many hits on the head. And he's like, I can be a politician now.
In his defense, that's actually how most politicians wind up.
Absolutely. I mean, we all saw, what's the guy from Georgia, the running back that ran from Georgia.
Was that Herschel Walker?
Herschel Walker. Thank you, God. I totally lost it. We all saw his, debacle of a candidacy.
Decline.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Okay. So moving on, sir. But we also, in the spirit of universalism, Christianity teaches a universal love for all people, whereas, again, America First teaches none of that. So you have the, moving on to the next bullet point I have is the kingdom of God versus earthly power. Christianity teaches that Jesus taught that his kingdom is not of this world. The ultimate loyalty of a Christian belongs to the kingdom of God, which transcends and judges all earthly nations. Nationalism, on the other hand, is an ideology that prioritizes and elevates an earthly nation, blurring the lines between a state's interest and God's will. Critics argue that this amounts to idolatry. I would be one of those critics, as a matter of fact, replacing God with a national identity. And
as I idolize you,
oh,
I have to accept what you find to be idolatry.
yeah, Kevin agrees 100%.
I have to agree, 100%.
There's the peanut gallery. So
Yeah.
And I would say I would go so far as to say that they have also idolatrized the Bible itself. Like the Bible has now become and that being because they've created an entire like almost fan fiction of shit that like they've like hell is not a biblical concept. It came, and so for that matter, neither is the triune God. None of that were biblical concepts. These were all like negotiations that we all kind of came up to. Old people back in 1,000 years ago came up with this so that we could stop hanging people on crosses.
So when a group
Yes.
of, I guess we can call them a group of people that kind of like hang out together and do, I guess, a clan. Mm-hmm. So they're like a clan of people. Were to stand up at a city council meeting.
Would they be wearing the same clothes?
Turn their back to
Yes.
the council
Yeah.
while they're holding their Bibles for the audience. Would you call that to be maybe this performative, using the Bible as a weapon?
Absolutely, I would. That's not to go too far into anything, but look up the phrase prophetic critique if anybody wants to know anything about that. But
not you, Mayor. You can't spell either of those words. Have someone else look it up for you,
please. But it is it is basically like an outward expression of your piety in public, most likely, and then while also like harboring a lot of hypocrisy inside. So basically, you're saying you're doing God's work, but you're also not recognizing your own sin, or you basically say that like my sin is not as bad as this person's sin, when all sin really is supposed to keep everybody equally from God. So again, it's read your Bibles, dipshits. Not our fans, the other dipshits. But
well,
if you want
you
to
guys too can. Yeah. It wasn't like that. It was just hey, it's we know the mayor's never read it.
Right. Yeah. And I actually I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, man. I've read the Bible, and I don't have scriptures memorized like I used to, but I've read the Bible, cover to cover a few times at least, and have read the meat and potatoes of it several hundred times. So I mean, I know my book as well as these people do, and I've still got my my little child Bible with all the scribbles in it and everything like that, and the doodles in the back, and the pictures of Jesus giving bread and loaves and fishes.
You drew unicorns onto the ark to make it.
Yeah,
that's what I would want to do.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and so moving on to more of these bullet points, we have service versus coercion. Christianity says the life of Jesus exemplified self-giving service rather than the coercive control of others. Christian nationalism, on the other hand, critics charge that Christian nationalism seeks to enforce laws that privilege a version of Christianity and to impose their political agenda on the nation, which is a distortion of the gospel. Again, that kind of stems off of the prophetic critique a little bit, but it also comes to these people, they crave control, and that's what makes these people do the things that they do. So can I move on to the next little part of this?
Well, I don't know, because my contribution to this was Overton's window.
Oh, please, yes.
And you know what? This actually might belong in a different section.
Okay.
So I'm going to come back to that.
Okay, sure.
I was very happy when I found this little blurb.
No, I love it. Yeah. The window has been smashed, by the way. So we'll get to that, in a bit. So let's. These are more inconsistencies with the core Christian teachings, but critical observers and many theologians have identified several contradictions and hypocrisies within the Christian nationalist ideology. These inconsistencies generally emerge from the use of the Christian faith to promote a narrow and nationalistic political agenda. Idolatry of the nation, like we spoke earlier, you elevate a particular nation and its symbols to the status that rivals the devotion to God himself. And some see this as a form of idolatry. I'm definitely one of those people. Christian theology, in contrast, emphasizes loyalty to God and his eternal kingdom over the earthly nation. Contradictions of the gospel message. The gospel is intended for all people, emphasizing that there is neither Jew nor Greek, and I would even add there is neither man nor woman. And so for all you people out there that are
Mayor's going to hate that one.
hating on trans people, there are. Well, let me finish reading this right here. So neither Jew nor Greek, but Christian nationalism often excludes minority faiths, immigrants, and those who do not conform to its cultural or ethical or ethnic background. And again, we have, even though the Bible itself has explicit instructions on how to own slaves and where you can pull your slaves from, and how much you can beat your slaves and all this other stuff, and how much you can sell your daughter for, and all the so all this other stuff. We don't now have slaves, right?
I mean, they're trying to bring that back.
Of course. I mean, because they're because they're assholes. We can just say that. But so point being is that there's plenty of scriptures that abolitionists back in the day were pointing to in order to get rid of slavery in the Americas, right? And if we wanted to, if we really had the gumption or the motivation within us to get rid of all this anti-trans nonsense, we really could pull out certain scriptures and make a good case for that, but they choose not to do it. And a lot of that is, again, the idolatry of the Christian faith that they've created. It's just fan fiction that I keep referring to. Anyway,
gonna disagree.
Please do.
And it goes.
I always like it when you disagree, by the way.
And it goes into the next section.
Okay.
Is because at the heart of this, I mean, we've been talking about the Bible and Christianity and so on and so forth, but at the heart of this Christian nationalism belief, this idolatry, is, as you mentioned, control and power as politicians, as leaders that are elected to these positions.
Sure.
So that was why, if you look at, a platform of someone who's running, like when I was like, hey, let's look at what the mayor's actually done, what his platform, what his beliefs are. They're all very vague, broad statements because he really doesn't have a plan or a system to fix what's wrong. But if you ask him about, like, hey, could I use the women's room?
Yeah.
That's the issue that he harps on to get the stupid people who he's not going to help any other way to vote him into office, because they're going to hurt the same people that he wants them to hurt. And I mean, and here's our old question.
Okay.
True believer, or does he know that he's lying to people to get them to follow him?
Yeah. Well, we don't have to rehash that. Yeah, no, but I mean, I don't mind harping on it, because I mean, it is that is one of the evergreen questions that people need to really wrestle with, because honestly, and I said this in the last episode that we had with the Radical Roots, that I think that question really just kind of breaks down to whether or not these people are showing up in good faith or bad faith.
When the mayor stands up on stage, as he put it up on Facebook, that is an actor playing a role.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it.
That is a mayor trying to get a foothold into the political system by appealing to Christian nationalism and the idolatry behind it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. Okay. Well, so you have a couple other things in here, like you have power over humility. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of these things kind of blend together a bit, but it bears repeating on some of this stuff, because these people, I mean, they need to hear it more than our people, because I don't think our folks really need to be convinced of this, but they'll tune us out, but we need to let them know that we're onto their game at least. Jesus taught his followers to love their neighbors, serve the poor, and practice humility. Christian nationalism, however, often seeks political dominance and power over others, which critics argue is a betrayal of these core virtues. You have violence over peace, which is another offshoot of the power over humility. Some who claim the Christian nationalist mantle have sanctioned or engaged in political violence and intimidation. Really? Never. Would they ever? This is also in direct conflict to Jesus' teaching in nonviolence, love, and turning the other cheek. They don't. I mean, is
watching these folks
Yeah.
with their vendettas.
Yep.
You know, and it's just absolutely amazing that it's like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to do. I mean, it was when the mayor went after Payron.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Hasn't said anything in the last few days, week or so. I mean, I haven't heard anything from him about it.
You know, the fervor has died down a bit too.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, he probably. I mean, but
he can't weaponize it anymore.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, did he
Yeah.
like have regrets about sending his clan after
That would
him?
require shame, sir,
Yeah, true. Touche.
which he has none of.
You definitely. He definitely does not feel shame.
Yeah. So exclusion versus radical welcome. Jesus' ministry included a radical acceptance of the marginalized and the outsiders. Christian nationalism, conversely, has been associated with xenophobia, anti-immigrant views, and white supremacy. Yeah, so don your hoods.
Oh, that was fake shot. I'm
Bitches.
sorry. I need to say that. That was someone's listening.
You did it well, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that
It's got to be.
was
It's got to be. Yeah. No.
Well, I know that like if you're watching this, you could probably see the fake shot.
Yeah.
Shock. But if you're listening, you're like, wow, Kevin's pretty dumb. He didn't know.
Genuinely shocked, Kevin.
Did not know that the Klan following the mayor around are white supremacists.
If you want to see the Klan in Monroe, by the way, Google Monroe, North Carolina, and Klan. KKK, I believe is how I got it. But there are pictures out there of the KKK walking through downtown Monroe. So we've got a long history here.
And we're not talking about that vigil from a couple weeks ago. We're talking about like historically speaking.
I would be interested to see if that did pop up. That would be fucking hilarious. Oh my God, that would be funny. We got to start tagging that.
Monrovians, you have your mission.
Right, yeah. We got to start tagging that in that way so that it will start popping up. We have also a theology of love versus the rhetoric of hate. Christian nationalists often use Christian languages and symbols, which simultaneously engaging in hateful and polarizing rhetoric against the groups of people like the LGBT community, the religious minorities, such as the one that William Wolfe the other day was talking about. This ain't for some nondescript God or the Muslims or Hindus or anything like that. This is for the one God, and the political opponents as well. So the gospel, however, teaches love for all. Imagine that, including enemies. Should we include enemies? Contradictions regarding the democracy and pluralism. So again, these people do not want to love their enemies, and they honestly, I think they truly feel like loving their enemies means wiping them off the face of the earth, just so that they can go meet their maker sooner. That's the.
I wouldn't believe that at all. I don't believe they think that loving their enemy is appropriate.
Yeah. No, that was Charlie Kirk. He's like, basically the empathy was bad because it made you, it misdirected your anger and made it, or I guess maybe it quelled your anger a bit and made you, kind of see, your enemies, finger quotes, from their view, I guess, or their eyes, or walk in their shoes, because that's the last thing you want to do is relent on these people and give up the game. So a lot of this leads to a misreading of American history. Many Christian nationalists claim that the U.S. was founded on an explicitly Christian nation and refer to it as a New Jerusalem. This narrative is historically inaccurate and ignores the founders' intent to create a secular government that respects religious pluralism. This is what I was talking about earlier, as far as the top down versus the bottom up. We just while I'm on this, by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, maybe, but the founding of our country and the revolution was absolutely a left-wing movement, by the way.
You didn't have to mention that to me because I graduated high school.
Okay, well, there you go. But some people think of it as like, okay, so part of the Christian nationalism, like folklore and myth building and all this other stuff and the ideology or the iconography, I guess is what I'm getting at, like, the symbols that they use is the patriot charging into battle with his musket and going after, who was he going after? Who was this, this colonial man charging after?
The Kraken.
Yes, absolutely. Down with the crack. No, he was going after the king. He's going after the king. The redcoats. And so we were throwing off the king. And in America, we cut the heads off kings. We don't elect them. That's for sure. Theoretically. Or
support them after they've been elected and try to become a king.
Metaphorically, obviously.
Mayor.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. We as a revolution, we were throwing off the king, and we were also throwing off the Boston Tea Party, a riot, by the way, with a lot of property destruction. So fuck all you people that think that property destruction is not a political act. Because you raise that as the example of good Americans doing
all right, so
things for us.
I get to do this because this
Please.
is kind of fun. The Boston Tea Party happened 7 years after that tax was imposed.
Right?
7 years.
Yep.
So the Boston Tea Party was not, in fact, an act meant to protest the tax. What was happening was the British had actually created a new rule that said that America had to be like underneath a monopoly with
they couldn't buy their own. They couldn't
Right.
grow and sell their own tea.
They couldn't grow and sell their
it
own
was
tea,
the
but they
East
also
India
had to
Company.
buy it from the East India Company.
Right. Yeah.
And so the folks who were profiting off of a black market tea trade, making their own tea, buying
Yep.
their tea from other places, they were the ones who saw their monies threatened, and that's why they threw tea overboard. It was not because of the tax that had passed 7 years earlier, just
Right.
in case anyone was wondering on that. But
So that was actually a case of capitalists standing up for America.
correct.
Right. We could use a little bit of that these days. Looking at you, Google.
And we're not going to, talk about the fact that they dressed up like Native Americans and appropriated culture. And okay.
They would have, if they would have dressed up as women, we would have had a problem with it. I guess some of them had to have been squaws, right? Anyway, so we talked about the misreading of American history, authoritarianism versus democratic principles. Some Christian nationalist tendencies lean towards authority. Did I write this? Lean towards authoritarian principles. I'm going to say rely on authoritarian principles and control and anti-democratic tactics such as voter suppression and intimidation.
Yeah.
Right. Preach, brother. This contradicts the democratic principles of equality. Oh, man, we don't like any of that, right? Liberty and the rule of law. To hell with all those things, those left-wing woke ideologies of equality, liberty, and the rule of law.
Which, they're left-wing in America because
Right.
authoritarians are saying that they're left-wing. Anywhere else in the world, it's just called existing.
Right, yeah. Well, we have to take into consideration that these people are liars. Yes.
Not our mayor.
Right. Especially our mayor.
He put his hand on the Bible.
Yeah. Let's do ideology of political leaders. Again, oh my God, this is like goes without saying that we've got do we normally make gold statues of our political leaders? Has that ever happened in our history?
So, fun fact,
Yes.
I have never flown a flag with a politician's name on it.
No.
I put a bumper sticker on my car at election time, and then after the election, I take it off.
Sure.
So I'll put signs up to say who I support so that people know, oh, I got to look into that name. If that cool dude has a sign in his yard
Yeah.
with his long grass that the HOA is yelling about, then I got to look into that person. And that's all I'm doing. You know what I mean?
You're too busy to mow your grass. You're being a patriot.
So, it's one of those ideas that we do not, idolize our politicians. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I voted for someone, and then after I voted for them, I still critique them
Sure.
because I'm not in a cult.
Well, and they deserve it.
And
Yes.
and that's the
Yes.
job. It's our job. When they start doing stuff that is wrong or that we don't like, we say that is wrong and we don't like it.
That's not who you spoke like. That's not who you led everybody to believe you were. And now you're going against what
Right.
everybody.
I mean, 20 years ago, if
elected
you
you
were to
for.
sit there and, you were to talk to me about like G-Dub versus John Kerry, I'd talk to you about we had two gentlemen who had different ways of doing what was best for America.
And they, yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? You might like this way, you might like that way. And then we get into the social issues that might sway some people one way or another. But if you look at what the mayor's doing, what's he doing that's good for Monroe? Him going out and paying to be at these conferences and standing up, and he's not serving anyone here in Monroe.
You have to tell why you said that. Paying to be at conferences, by the way.
$3,500.
This fucker.
This fucker. So he's all over his Facebook page about how honored he is to go up and say the closer, which we got you fucking beat on that one. We got a hell of a closing today. And he gets up on stage, and it turns out that he wasn't invited there.
No.
Nobody knew who the fuck he was. No one's like, I heard about what the great job you're doing in Monroe. No one's like, oh, I read your Twitter page, and you sound like a good Christian man while you're calling people names. He fucking paid $3,500 to stand up there on stage and speak for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I believe he changed it because at one point he had on the page, I believe he edited it. Don't hold me to that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But he actually called himself the keynote speaker.
Oh, is that right?
And
So,
I'm like,
again, he's giving himself titles.
yeah, dude, that's going to cost you like $100K at least. No one wants to hear you babble on for that long.
What a fucking clown.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we're not doing clowns today. Well,
All
I mean,
right.
we kind of are, but continue on. I'm sorry.
So to read my sentences on the idolatry of political leaders, Christian nationalism can lead to the elevation of political leaders who do not embody Christian virtues, but advance the movement's agenda, and can involve excusing or ignoring unchristian behavior in exchange for political gains. Can anybody say Epstein files?
None of this sounds like it applies to anything that's happening in our country or our city.
God, I mean, and the thing about it is like, this is basic shit. There's nothing here. Like, I'm an uneducated person, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. But again, I have read enough to know that what we're going through now represents nothing that America has stood for, or that I was taught coming up through high school. And basically, we're diverging wildly from the American ideals that we were all, I thought, instilled with. Just to put a capstone on this part of it right here, there have been movements of Christian nationalism within this country before, and we've all come together and tamped this shit down because we saw it as wrong. This is modern day McCarthy. This is basically this is a neo-Confederacy. This is McCarthyism revisited. And if you don't believe that shit, Roy Cohn was McCarthy's lawyer. Roy Cohn taught Trump everything he knows about lying and continuing to lie and never admitting you're wrong. And Stephen Miller, at this point, is basically the reincarnation, so to speak, of Roy Cohn. Just please. Like there's so many really good podcasts out there. As a matter of fact, there's a really good podcast called
Drawing Bigger Circles.
Hey,
Do our own plug, man.
right, yeah, but it's called Know Your Enemy, and they did a really good episode, a couple episodes, as a matter of fact, on Roy Cohn, and man, it is so good. Just please go back and understand the figure of Roy Cohn. Not only learn about who he was and all this other stuff, but you need to absolutely understand what this man was pushing, because it's happening nowadays and right in front of our eyes. So.
One of my favorite conversations
Yes.
about this time last year was when I was trying to educate folks. Say, hey, here's Project 2025. You may
Never heard of it.
may want to read through this, and everyone's like, Trump stood up on stage said never heard of it. I don't know. I don't know any of those guys. You know, I mean, granted, now they're all in their cabinet, and it keeps making me think about the Simpsons movie when they clean up the lake. The Fat Tony's walking down with his friends there, the mafia, and he's got the bag, and it's garbage bags, and they're all tied up, and it looks like it's a body.
Yeah.
And Chief Wiggum turns around, he's got his cops, and he looks over at him. He's like, there's no dumping here at the lake, guys. And he's like, I'm just taking my rug to the... He's like, there's no dumping in this lake, guys. He's like, okay. And he turns around, and Ed turns to him. He's like, Chief, I think that was a body. He's like, I did too, till he said rug. See, the key to police work is you got to listen. Right. And, you know, it just and I've had that scene running through my head, for the past week, as now... You know, Trump is like, and my next step for 2025, and it's like,
yeah.
And but everyone who said that, like, oh.
But as long as he gives these people like a plausible deniability about it, because this is the thing about Trump that really just, that again, I need to point out to people so that they kind of see what's going on. It's like Trump says a lot of bullshit. Has anybody noticed? He will also say, like, contradictory statements that like just completely are at odds with each other.
Right.
But as long as there's those statements out there in the ether somewhere that these people can pull from, just like they do their idolatry, laced Bible at this point, as long as there's passages from because he is Holy Scripture now, as long as there's passages from Trump at this point that they can pull from to say, Trump's not a racist. He said, I love black people. Wait.
Okay, I love black people.
See?
It's right there.
It's right there. How do you not see it? But but he can also say, I love black people, but he can also say that they were born criminals, basically, and say that these people were, they have no other lot in life other than just to be servants of the state at this point, because they don't have any other, they got no other motivation except for hurting good Christian white people. So
we covered.
I think we kind of covered that fairly well. So I wanted to turn the floor over to you a little bit, and we're going to maybe move on to a couple other segments.
Well, I don't know if we're turning the floor over as much as now we're going to get into the discussion of things. This is a little less evidentiary.
Okay.
We went over the definition. We explained why it's a contradiction to say Christian nationalism and call yourself a patriot,
right,
or call yourself a Christian.
Yep.
But now I want to get into the question about what are their goals? When you look at the mayor, what is his goal when you look at Christian nationalism and why he's doing, and I want to say perverting, the teachings of Christ to fit his agenda? Like what's his goal?
It is at this. If I had to, just throw something out, I mean, it's like it's party over party and ideology over country. That's for sure. But and it just comes back to power. And if I had to, so that would be the goal of the group that I feel like he thinks he's leading. I don't know, or whatever. But ultimately, it just comes down to power.
Well, because I guess my biggest issue is, let's bring it right back to what brought him on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw Mayor Burns, he was recording people using a public restroom.
Sure.
And that was creepy as fuck. He lost my vote, and I didn't know shit about him. I just saw this dude out there, with his phone up, recording a public restroom, and I'm like,
right.
I don't know what that dude stands for, but I don't stand for that.
Yeah.
But when we get to the drag shows, he has made this his big issue. And it's all based on a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta ask, so why do they stand on the streets telling people that they're going to, if they scream, "You're going to hell" a certain number of times, is there a super heaven that they're going to get into? Is there another level of, you only said it 990 times. This person said it 1,000. They get to go to super. I don't really understand. And this is why it's brought back to me over time and time again that this has to be a performance, because this is
So this actually kind of goes back to the believer or bullshitter comment.
Always.
Yep, because it is the underlying theme of pretty much everything he does, or the discussion that we have about everything he does, I should say. And this is where I fall under the believer category, because and it's not necessarily a believer in Christianity, but it is a believer in the narrative myth that they tell each other. So America's a Christian nation. It belongs to white people. Anybody that's not of the cookie cutter mold that fits into their group can stay, but as long as they're subservient and are willing to do the bidding of the leaders, because they are the leaders.
I mean, I know. I mean, we
Yeah.
see this because there are a few folks in the LGBTQ community
Yeah.
that look up to the mayor.
Absolutely.
Tucker and
Talbert is what.
Talbert.
Yeah.
Those guys are still following the mayor, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, the mayor hopes that you die and burn in hell. Mm-hmm. Why
Yeah,
would
yeah.
you follow that instead of joining,
Yeah.
common sense? And
I tell you what, I'm not going to try and diagnose these. Again, another term for you folks, log cabin Republicans. I'm not going to try and diagnose what would lead a member of the queer community to think that they have some kind of place within this system, because they have to know that they're on the chopping block. I mean, almost literally on the block, the next, beyond, whoever else they decide to. I mean, immigrants usually is what comes first, and then it's anybody else who doesn't fall in line. But so getting back to the believer or bullshitter thing, again, they believe in the founding myth. They believe in this myth of Christian nation and all this other stuff. But I think that it is a means to an end, because it does serve a purpose of control in the fact that it keeps all of us kind of at odds and at each other's throats, while the other people are basically like robbing the treasury. So, and I would say the other people, I mean the capitalists and the actual ruling class. So,
well, I mean, we saw that with Mitch McConnell, Marjorie
Yeah.
Taylor Greene. Mitch McConnell didn't give two fucks, and we already said this about gay people getting married.
Yeah.
But he had to make that an issue.
Yeah.
And then when he was like, "Well, we're going to fight for this," and Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, "Fuck yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to fight for this." Then she gets elected, and they're like, "No, that was just part of the performance." And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
now she's like holding up Congress, she's
Yeah.
holding up bills, and they're like, "We're trying to cut taxes for the rich, we're
Yeah.
trying to cut regulations," and you're sitting here screaming about bathrooms. You got to shut the fuck up.
yeah, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene is she's the outcropping or the culmination of this gerrymandering and all this other stuff, because basically once you have controlled a particular sector of like the county or the community or something like that, and made it to where only right-wing people, and for that matter, this works with the left-wing way too, but I'm obviously highlighting the right-wing people. But once you've made it to where the other party has no place, the only way you can go is to the other extreme. The only way you can go is be more right-wing. So Mitch McConnell is the bullshitter. Mm-hmm. Burns is the believer. All right? The bullshitters were able to keep the believers in line for the longest time, and you may touch on this in a second too. But they were able to they were able to throw them bones every once in a while. I don't get another one.
No.
God damn it. Okay, so they were able to just string them along for the longest time by giving them little small wins here and there. And like I say, I think you're going to touch on a couple of these examples here in a bit, so I won't spoil it for you, But again, Mitch McConnell, like you say, doesn't give a shit about religion. He doesn't get. I mean, he may talk when he has to. He may throw out I don't know that I've ever seen him talk about it though. Honestly.
No.
Never.
No.
So, but anyway, he will string these people along and give them what they need in order to get their votes. And then, but again, Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of these slobber mouths that just
It's the nicest thing she's ever been called.
right, yeah. But she broke through. And a lot of these other people did too, like these actual true believers who think that Mitch McConnell used let's just say abortion as a lever to pry against these people in order to get them to vote. Well, Marjorie and he may have called them murderers at some point, but probably or people who get abortions or who
He really didn't.
I don't know that he ever has, but again, Marjorie Taylor Greene will tell you that the abortion doctors and people who get abortions are murderers and deserve probably death, but definitely jail. And so they have taken over the party. I mean, and to the detriment of all of us, but definitely to the detriment of people like McConnell.
I
who
think
are like,
we talked about this. Like, this is the beast you created.
Absolutely.
And now,
monster.
so when these true believers are up there in Congress holding up legislation because they want, legislation saying that men can't wear dresses. Mm-hmm. And Mitch McConnell's like, that's not what. And next thing you know, he's getting fucked because, and to this extent, I would like to say, the true believers were never meant to be in positions of power. They were never meant to be elected.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be out there screaming on social
holding
media.
pitchforks and torches.
And stuff like that. And that's what we're seeing with Burns. And I'll tell you that I think we are pretty lucky in Monroe that it appears, his primary, he's getting fucked. He's out. He's done.
Right.
Because he's running against an actual conservative person, woman, who has ideas, explains what she's been doing, and has ideas on how to do things. And he never once could articulate that beyond, like, check out the airport.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I would hesitate to maybe call her a conservative because I don't know that she, holds that moniker, but definitely she's a Republican. And I would, and again, I don't want to speak for her in all this. I would much rather let her do it for herself. And we're talking about Pat Cale, by the way, the person who's going to, pound Mayor Burns into the fucking sand.
Lee.
So,
like, seriously, dude, I would tell you, like, if I were your campaign manager, I would tell you, don't even run. It is going to be embarrassing. You are going to get crushed. All of the folks that you think are going to invite you to speak because of, nope, they're going to be like, oh, look at this loser.
Yeah. Not that he probably isn't already, but be prepared to be a footnote, motherfucker. And just so everybody else knows, we're going to do what we can to make sure that this man is gone. And that includes, I'm being an unaffiliated voter. I'm going to vote Republican for the first time in my life.
Yep. Voting in that primary.
Yeah, I'm voting in that primary for Pat Cale. And now, depending on, who the Democratic candidate is after that, I'll have a decision to make. But that's the whole point. Is like
we have a decision to make.
We have a decision to make. And that's really all that Americans can ask for. I mean, because, again, you talk about this polarization in America. Basically, it's like the Republican. And they would say the same thing about our side, too. But from my perspective, the Republicans have made themselves so motherfucking unelectable and just absolute crazy, batshit crazy that like That's
why they have to gerrymander.
Yeah, and I just can't even consider it anymore. Like there is no consideration at this point, and so I have to just bite the fucking bullet and vote for these milquetoast fucking Democrats who I just who just I don't feel like they represent my interests.
This is speaking of segues.
Yes. We're great at those, by the way. You haven't noticed?
The one thing that I got to learn this week while I was researching all this information was I learned about Overton's window.
Oh, great.
Okay?
Yes.
And Overton's window, and I'm going to read this off the thing so I don't fuck it up, is a range of policies and ideas that are considered acceptable to the mainstream population at any given time. And the fun thing about this is it's not static. It can move.
Right.
It does this.
Yep.
So one of the things is when I joined the Air Force, I joined under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And in 97, I thought that was an extremely progressive idea.
Really, it was, yeah.
It was not. It was still dehumanizing. It was still.
Oh, of course, yeah. But it felt like a step in the right direction.
It felt like a step in the right direction. Yeah. Luckily, I was blessed to work with some fantastic folks who did not hide their true selves.
Oh, good.
And were fantastic and did this, did that, and commanders never really, pursued it. Mm-hmm. If they did know. They still didn't pursue it. So that was fantastic.
Right.
But that's a perfect example of something that homosexuals in the military is was in 97
Yeah.
not an acceptable thing. And now over the years, here we are in 2025, homosexuals in the military are not that big a deal. But now they're challenging
They're pushing
trans
it back
folks.
the other way. Yeah.
Well, now they're challenging trans folks, not gay people, trans folks. And the reason is because of Overton's window, because gays in the military has been happening for has been happening since the since military's existed.
What, W, right? And George
No. Since military's existed.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just
yeah.
out.
Again, if we're telling people to go check out shit, the Roman army.
Yeah. But it's the idea
A lot
that
of butt stuff in that one.
ooh, butt stuff. That's the name of our band.
Yeah. And sharing of tents.
But now, folks have been dealing with it where folks could be out and proud and who they are.
Yeah.
And it's become a lot less of a problem for folks.
Yeah, right.
Segregation is another example.
Yep.
And what I'm tying into this is that when segregation became more and more popular, desegregation became more and more popular, and people were like, "Oh, this isn't too bad," like, "Oh, my kid," and of course we have white flight, we have redlining, we have all the stuff that continued legally.
Yep.
But the right wing of the country, the politicians, saw the writing on the wall, and they had to shift, and they had to move from segregation because that was becoming less and less of a popular issue with the people.
They were going to lose elections.
They were going to lose elections.
I mean, just came down to it.
What did they choose? What did they hop to?
Abortion.
I
mean, just simple.
You know what I mean? So if you go back
school choice and all this other stuff. I mean, that basically that came.
That was segregation.
No, but I'm saying today they're calling segregation. I mean, they would quibble with this, I bet. But like school choice nowadays is basically like schools getting to choose their children instead of children, or instead of like schools being
right. So there were like cases about this
to serve
because,
their entire community.
Burns's parents didn't want him going to school with a black child, so they would. That's just a joke, and that's not official. Don't look that up.
Right.
But the idea that the folks who were racist and stuff like that didn't want their kids going to school with the black folks, so they would. And then that
was the creation of the suburbs.
And there was like all these court cases about it, about private schools and who could take them, and Christian private schools, et cetera, et cetera. Being able to segregate still, et cetera,
which is what they're creating those nowadays.
But again, they jumped. So the right switched over to abortion. So in 1971, abortion, 90% of the country is like, yeah, we're kind of in favor of that. We don't care. And then 10 years later, it's the big issue on the right. And they started this little movement. And, I think the mayor was out there last weekend screaming about how he can't wait to adopt children. But, the idea is that we saw them kind of create this issue, turn people against each other, and nobody cared about abortion. It was they wanted to elect their people on that message. And that's what Burns is doing now.
It was a motivational tool. Right.
And when this issue becomes less and less polarizing, that's when they move on to the gerrymandering, the throwing out ballots, the court case that we just saw here in North Carolina where the Duke Energy was paying for the lawsuits against the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
For the justice race because they were like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
They got to do all these things to stay in power because their ideas become less and less and less popular.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing with the mayor. Like, he's got a little echo chamber going now, but technically, no one likes him.
No, and it's becoming here, one of those for you, buddy. It's becoming less and less. I think I'm hoping anyway. A lot of these people who kind of voted for him just because of let's be honest, like Christian people have their own identity politics. They can bitch about it all they want to and call it what they want.
But remember, a lot of folks didn't vote for him because he had great ideas or they knew that he was this person. They went in there and they're like, oh shit, I don't know anything about these folks.
Well, all he did was just like go door to door and just say Jesus a bunch of times, and people just like,
no,
oh,
he stood out on the street with
Christian,
signs. But.
Yeah, right, yeah. Another a bad example of the Overton window, or I guess one in the opposite direction from what you were given positive examples of the Overton window shifting. Not necessarily the abortion thing, obviously, but another bad example is Elon Musk. When he came out, with his speech after Trump won, and he gave his little Nazi salute, that opened doors for other people to start doing the same thing. Then you saw Steve Bannon do it. Then you saw a Catholic priest do it. And Steve Bannon, obviously, there's no fire in that dude. I mean, he's got his own little empire going, his own little empire of lies. But when you have Catholic priests, throwing out fucking Nazi salutes, man, you're taking things that would be in any other time in history be something that would get you ostracized from polite society, and now you're making it okay to do. And so,
but this goes back to your original thought about like they don't have a core belief system.
Oh, of course.
It's whatever it is. Like, oh, Elon did that. Okay, I got to be okay with Nazi salutes now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Then you saw people online being like, okay, yeah, and also too, let's not forget fucking Kanye. Being like, and please don't. Well, I won't even say it because somebody's going to clip this shit. Talking about how the Mr. Mustache Man was awesome. He loved him. And so it just, again, you have people like this that are coming out and making it okay to say these, historically awful things. And then it leads to, dumb fucks on the street, being okay with it too. So, because once you say Elon is cool and I don't really care that he did the Nazi salute, where do you go from there at that point? How do you at that point turn your back on a person like Elon or Trump for that matter? I honestly at this point I don't think that there's really anything other than I don't know that there's anything that Trump could do that these people won't explain away. There's just a certain element or a certain segment of our society at this point, and I'm thinking it's probably around like 33, 34, 35% of people that will never, ever say anything or like turn their back on this man.
Well, that's cult-like behavior,
idolatry. They're in a fucking cult. Yeah.
Like I can criticize anyone that I voted for in the past and still lay my head down at night in peace. Well, other than the acid reflux.
Well, and again, like there's plenty of like politicians out there that I would say that I admire and maybe even look to for guidance or leadership, and we choose these people because of these good qualities that they have. But the minute they start like throwing out fucking Nazi salutes, or they like or on Epstein's list, you're jettisoned, my man. You're done. And you deserve all the bad shit that happens to you after that. But again, these people, but the reason that they can't do this shit is one, because it's like I mentioned in our podcast with Radical Roots. These people would have to commit metaphorical suicide. They would have to kill themselves and become a new person. And they're just not willing to do that shit. So anyway,
I think the biggest issue that I have with this whole identifying so hard with something is their hate of the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. What happens when someone in their family is gay? I mean, if you're going to sit there, if you're going to put up on your little blurb on Facebook, this is my personal account, God, family, Fritos. I can't remember the rest of it. And it's God, and then family. Who in your family can trust you if you're going to turn your back on them when they're gay? I mean, is it one of your children, a sibling, aunt, uncle? Who in your family is close enough that you would reflect on how much that might be poisoning your mind to hate that much?
Yeah. And, I think that part of this is just like them being able to somehow cordon off different belief systems in their own head. So they have this
cognitive dissonance.
There you go. Thank you. You throwing out this big words for the mayor again.
Oh, you got your fair share in. Oh, you got your $10 words.
We're gonna have to start spelling shit for him at this point.
Fuck him.
Yeah. All right. So did we cover the Overton window?
Yeah, we covered all that stuff. I just in the last little section, I just wanted to talk about responding to these folks. Look, folks, I'm going to tell you the truth. These fuckers, I love it when they're like, the mayor's racist, prove it. And it's like, okay, here you go. Well, that's fake. This is blah, blah, blah. And so stop. Just fucking stop. Evidence is not going to turn a cult member away from their cult leader. So I like to fuck around with them and just make fun of them, just laugh at their stupidity and move on with life and be happy, go have a hot dog.
Yep. So is this a Christian nation?
Oh, geez.
Kevin?
We went back up there. I'm sorry.
We're a little farther, yeah.
No.
In short.
In short. And, honestly, that answer should be enough.
Yeah.
In all these court cases and all this and stuff like that, it's not a Christian nation. And God We Trust was added to our official motto in 1956.
Yep.
Ish. And it was part of that McCarthy error.
Yep.
Error? Yes.
Yes.
Era and error.
Yeah, yeah.
It was both. Where they were fighting communism,
Yeah.
the anti-religion
The Red Scare.
communists, and this was how they did it. They put "In God We Trust" on our money, on our buildings. We still have it on a bill. Actually, I don't even know how long it's been there, but it's been there since I lived here. It's on the town hall.
Oh, it absolutely is. I remember when it went up, and I like.
When was that?
Probably. It had to have been like 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's but it was part of this this movement to basically put "In God We Trust" on pretty much every municipal building and every cop car, every state-owned vehicle. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a cop car. It's like basically any.
So.
Yep.
It's on the building.
Yep.
It's on the building that the mayor has to go to do all his bullshitting here for the city once a month whenever he does make an appearance here. Mm-hmm. And it says, "In God We Trust," as he walks through that building. Stephen?
Yes, Kevin.
I said to myself,
Self.
and I knew it was me because I recognized my voice.
Right.
If the mayor trusts in God, why doesn't he stay the fuck home during election season?
Well, Kevin, because because he has to be God's hammer, and all of us peons out here are the nails.
God's Hammer, name of our band. It seems like a contradiction to what he stands up and says, and we have, I don't know, dozens of videos of him praying in public and talking about me, I.
Right.
And at the same time, he's like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, but I give myself up to God.
Sure.
Stay the fuck home. Let's test this theory.
If he wants to, as a matter of fact, I think, it was
Don't
today.
run. Don't even sign up to run.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. God will make sure that the right people write in your name.
It's in his very capable hands.
Challenge to you, sir.
Right. As a matter of fact, I think, one of his loonies that we troll on Facebook regularly, she, what did she say? It was, Monroe's soul is worth fighting for, all this other good stuff. And I was like, hey, if you're really worried about Monroe's soul, start a fucking church, lady.
Yeah. We already got a governor or a mayor. We already got a town council. We're good.
Nobody's stopping you. There's a church on every fucking corner out there. You're totally welcome to go out there and save souls in any other way. But, the rest of us just want a fucking functioning city. And, we just want to be able to say that the city itself belongs to all people and not just some select few who, decide to, wear their hair a certain way or show up in public, with, just dressed in a certain way that's, anyway.
And not just dressed a certain way, dressed in a certain way that does not affect you in the fucking least.
Not in the least.
Not in the least. And, since you brought up the soul of Monroe.
Yep.
I'd like to say that one of our members, Meg, I don't use last names.
Nope.
One of our members has been collecting food and got more than 1,200 pounds of food that she donates in the past few months. And I'm curious, who's your friend here with the soul of Monroe?
Michelle Ball.
Oh, okay. So Michelle Ball.
Balls.
Let's hope not. But
who knows what's under that dress? I think we should ask her.
Apparently,
I think we should force her to show everybody.
Apparently, that's acceptable, and I'm going to stay home that day. But the idea that if I tell you what, you want to do something for the soul of Monroe, make it so that Meg does not have to collect food anymore.
Right. That's
Make
totally
it so
within
that the poor are fed,
Yeah.
the unhoused have homes,
Yeah.
and set it up so that they're not just given a house and then, okay, there you go, good luck, but given the supplies, the resources to thrive after that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the word thrive, Kevin, because there's there's groups out there that that basically we have nonprofits in the and for that matter too, homeless shelters have to run group or fundraisers in order to give make sure that these people are provided for, and in the richest nation in the country or in the world. The fact that we have homeless people out there and we can't afford to, make sure that, we're feeding them on a regular basis is, I would say that that's anti-Christian.
And I don't think that should exist. I don't think food pantries should exist. I don't think homeless shelters should exist.
Sure.
They should not exist. So if you want to talk about the fucking soul of Monroe, look at your own fucking soul, you hateful bitch.
Yeah. So.
Oh, sue me.
Okay.
Call the cops.
Yeah. Oh, she will.
She will.
Damn straight. Any chance she gets, she's out there. She's very litigious.
And that's another thing.
Okay.
Since we're not gonna.
Speaking of segues.
Speaking of.
God, we're good at this.
I mean, yeah, we're killing it. But it's just, and that's what kills me is he stands up there and he says like, I'm gonna be the guardian of Monroe. I'm gonna be the warrior. I'm gonna be the blah blah blah. And it's like. Fuckers, like if you're listening to this, if you see him walking down the street, cross to the other side. Because if he sees your fucking shadow, he's going to squeal, he's going to shit himself and call the fucking cops.
Yeah.
Nobody is threatening him.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's all in his head, his persecution complex that he has to be the victim. Because
well, they are nothing without an opposition, though.
They are. I mean, if
they
you
really aren't.
I mean, and it's one of those. I saw a great thing the other day. It's like, hey, we live in a right-wing society. They have the media, they have the government, they have the courts.
Currently, anyway.
Currently. Yeah. Well, when was it not?
Well, I mean, so not to get too far into this, but I mean, again, like we do have probably since like the 50s or whatever anyway, we've had a center-right society. But there was a time with FDR and stuff like that, like the entire New Deal.
Which he got challenged in courts.
Absolutely, but still, that was a push for a more of a center left politics. He was not a socialist by any means, but it was definitely he was trying to basically alleviate some of the pressures that modern or that everyday people were feeling, because I mean it was right after the time where basically the same thing we're going through now, where the rich people just decided, hey, we don't really have to put anything into this society anymore and still reap the benefits from it,
right?
Or not, and so basically it's we've gotten to the point now again where we're rolling back around to where these same people in power are deciding that the maintenance of a democracy is just not worth the investment, because we are about to have our first trillionaire, and they all want to be fucking trillionaires. They don't want part of the money; they want all of the fucking money. And so FDR was like, "No, you don't get it all. We still have to make sure that people, can, survive and have a, national parks and a beautiful place to live. You don't just get to just rape everything that you see." So again,
remember,
they've been fighting the New Deal ever since he was.
The rich used to like build museums and libraries.
Yeah.
And now they rocket off into Mars.
Well, but it was part of, again, the when people talk about like the tax policy being like 90%, and they say that that's just like horrific. How can you possibly run a society where the tax the highest income tax bracket anyway is like 90%?
We used to.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But they leave out the fact that it's not like 90% of all your money. Basically, it's 90% of the very top portion that you earn over and above a certain, just an arbitrary number that we'd all decided that was a good number for everybody, or
for individuals, for corporations.
But here's how they got beyond. Okay. Here's how they got past that. They built fucking museums and just they gave back to their community, or they gave back to their fucking employees. And so, if you want to make sure that employees are, which we have, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'm not just going to like shoot off at the, I'm not the mayor. I'm not just going to like pull shit out of my ass. But what created the 80s and everybody having everybody could afford to go on vacation. Disney World was at the peak of its popularity. All that other stuff was the fact that we had people at the top paying their fair share in order to fund all the other good stuff that was happening in the society. Little by little, started with it didn't necessarily start with Reagan, but Reagan was basically the God's hammer that that broke it open, and then everything else beyond that has happened. So this is why wage stagnation and income inequality and all that other good stuff is what we're seeing nowadays.
So going back to 5 minutes ago.
Yes, please.
Mayor.
I will go on a tangent.
Mayor Burns has been around for 2 years.
Yes.
And how is Monroe better today because of him?
Well, to hear him tell it, we're on the cusp of a golden age. 2 weeks, Kevin.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and we're going to be in a golden age.
2 weeks, and we got it nailed. I mean, I see him handing out these checks to businesses, only to find out that these plans were put in, play 10 years ago. So it's not even like he gets to take credit for that.
Yeah.
So he's ruined the murals and making everyone have the same umbrellas. But
Yep.
And what a dick.
All right, you ready to wrap it up, my man?
Yep, I'm done. I have nothing else to say, so take it away, Stephen.
All righty. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this podcast or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can never miss an episode. We have a website, Kevin, changeformonroe.com.
Yeah.
You can send us an email at Stephen or Kevin at changeformonroe.com. We love hearing from you, and we read all of your emails. I promise. We reserve the right to read these said emails on air unless you express otherwise. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Change for Monroe and Instagram, also Change for Monroe.
Yeah, it's not in use a lot, but you want to get in there early.
Yeah.
Before the good stuff starts happening during the election season.
While we're talking about it, if somebody else wants to like run our socials for us, we're looking for people who want to do that kind of thing. So if you've got that
small fingers.
Yes. So if you've got that the gumption to maybe take that on for us, we'd love to talk to you about it. So you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Threads and all the socials except for Twitter, because fuck Elon. And as always, consume a satchel of Richard Robert.
I was saying.